All right, y'all. This is Tailored Health Tips. Tip number 3, diet is key. And this is the Getting Rid of a Bare Belly series. I want to share with you what I learned and what I did in terms of diet to get rid of my bare belly. The first thing is I need to take you with me back to the time and um, the time when I was eating very badly, I would say, because my diet really consisted of my staple food, which I love to this day, which is rice, and the stews or soups that I eat as, proud boy from Freetown, Sierra Leone. So lots of different types of soups or stews, but that was mainly my diet. And wasn't really much of a breakfast eater per se, but one of the things that's happened in my life, especially since I came back to the US, is started working at Google. And I used to work out of the Sunnyvale office, and like most Googlers, I gained what's known as the Google 15. That's where you gain 15 pounds at some point in your first year, because you just get exposed to what back then used to be 3 meals a day. And you could have breakfast, you could have lunch, you could have dinner. And despite the fact that prior to that, I wasn't really much of a stickler to eating 3 meals a day, but working at Google, I started eating 3 meals a day. My favorite restaurant was this restaurant called Burger, and it was spelled without the vowels. So BRGR, for example. I just loved this restaurant. It used to make burgers and French fries, as well as sweet potato fries. And the burgers were to die for. Like, you could have bacon and stuff. And I remember one lunch period eating 3 of those burgers, because you could have as many as you want, right? And also there were some really nice restaurants like Pho Noodles. Like, there was a little Vietnamese restaurant that was part of that setup, like with the little burger joint. And there was a little Mexican joint, and then there was a sit-down restaurant where you could have like a proper meal. But anyway, it was just really good food, or at least good tasting food, and I ate lots and lots of it. And then when it came to my own cooking, I would bake my traditional rice with some type of stew dish. So whether that's what we'll call fry soup, or a little bit of granat soup, or what others will call peanut butter soup, and the likes of that nature. But anyway, I used to enjoy that food quite a bit. And what I learned as I went through my education about bare belly and where it could have come from is that the foods that I was eating, and I did forget to mention, I used to love to make lots of different types of sandwiches with cold cuts. And my favorite bread for the sandwich was actually those Thomas's cinnamon raisin bagels. And I would toast those joints and sometimes put butter, sometimes put mayonnaise, but throw down like 3 or 4 slices of ham, 3 or 4 slices of pepperoni, 3 or 4 slices of salami, some cheese, cut that up. And that was one of my favorite snacks, meals, especially when I wouldn't feel like cooking. So I was eating like that for some time, and I realized in my education that I had to change that, because that sandwich that I just shared with you, that's full of a lot of processed foods, and that is not really helpful or healthy. So I had to get rid of that, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. And then also with burger, I was eating the food tasted really good, but it was being prepared in vegetable oils primarily. And I'll do a video later to discuss what I learned about vegetable oils and why that's not good and that's not healthy, and how that also contributed to the bare belly. And I haven't mentioned this much, but I used to love to eat lots and lots of ice cream. And Haagen-Dazs is my guilty pleasure, especially dulce de leche. But the cookies and cream also very nice. I forgot if it's called cookies and cream, but the one with the Oreo cookies in it. Man, I used to buy like sometimes 2 to 4 of those, like quarter tubs, and over a weekend I could easily sit down and in one sitting eat one of those quarter tubs and be done with it. So I also had to learn how to cut out that ice cream, but more importantly, I learned so much about sugar and why sugar is such a drug, but also why it is so bad for us and what it does to our bodies and how our bodies are not really able to process it well. And therefore, when we eat lots of it, our bodies end up turning it into the only thing it knows how to turn it into, which is fat, and then it stores it like wherever it can find space in the body. And of course, around the stomach is one of those places, and that's where we get that spare tire effect when you pick up a bare belly. But nevertheless, once I understood diet a bit better, I became very focused very quickly on changing my diet. And I became very focused very quickly on eliminating the bad things that were causing the bare belly, because I was really motivated to get rid of the bare belly. I'd already shared that part of the challenge that I face in my intro video to the channel was I got denied life insurance, so I was super motivated to understand how to turn things around. And I was also seeing, I'd also been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, so super motivated to turn things around. So these were the things that I ended up focusing on when it came to diet. So I made sure that I eliminated processed foods, made sure that I cut out sugar. I'll talk more about that. Made sure that I stopped using vegetable oils. I'll talk about what I used to replace vegetable oils. And then also made sure that when it came to carbohydrates, because I also learned quite a bit about carbs and sugar and how carbs and sugar, or how carbs turn into sugar, the way our body processes things. So I knew I had to also cut down on carbohydrates, which also meant that I had to find a substitute for rice, which is my staple. So what I've been substituting for rice is actually sweet potato, like boiled and then mash it. So sweet potato mash has been the go-to. So let me pause here. I've said a lot, I've shared a lot. And again, I'm curious for those of you who are like me, either battled successfully to get rid of your bare belly. Like, would love to know, what did you do? And if it's different from what I've done and is more effective, and or if it's different and just effective, I would love to amplify it by sharing it on this channel. And for those who are in the battle, like, what are you doing? Like, how is it going? Drop me a few comments, let me know. If you've liked this video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you think others would benefit from sharing the video, please share. And if you want to know when the next video in this series is going to be released, hit that notification bell. All right, y'all. See you soon.